The 50s, the atomic age of movies. Ever since the Rhedosaurus stomped its way to the shores in Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, followed shortly after by one of, if not the most iconic movie monster of all time, Godzilla, every director under the sun had to have a slice from that money-making cash cow of a pie that was the monster movie genre. And in 1959, the director of 20,000 Fathoms, Eugene Laurier, teamed up with one of the pioneers of stop-motion effects, Willis O'Brien, to make yet another big-ass monster movie, because that's all Eugene did throughout the 50s. Like I said, cash cow. Regardless, you have two of the best working together. What could possibly go wrong? The movie kicks off with an old British man on a beach getting attacked by something off screen that causes him to become sick and die of radiation poisoning, followed by a mass kill-off of fish. While investigating the cause of these strange happenings, one of the guys comes across a pulsating, gross-looking white blob on the beach. And what's the logical first step after you come across something like this? You touch that shit. Yeah. As is tradition with these monster movies, the scientists are always one step behind the monster. So while our heroes are dicking around on the beach, the Behemoth attacks some poor bastard on a farm and displays its ability to turn people into matte paintings. Mother of God. As is also a tradition with these old monster movies, they're too focused on trying to make the movie seem sophisticated, so there's really no monster until almost an hour into this thing. Until then, I hope you like watching people talk in rooms, or talk on boats, while this ungodly Geiger counter sound plays in the background for what felt like an eternity. It made my eardrums feel like they were gonna burst out of my skull. But finally, after 50 minutes, we're finally graced with the first appearance of our titular Behemoth, and oh no. You know that Loch Ness Monster picture? You know the one. This reminds me of that. This sucks. This sucks so bad that there's even a shot where the puppet comes out of the water and you can clearly see the support beams underneath it. I can't imagine this sequence was done by Willis O'Brien, but since 6 people did effects for this movie, I couldn't tell you whose bright idea this was, but god damn. So there's this really weird scene just before the Behemoth attacks the city where the music just randomly cuts out for no reason for a few seconds, and then shortly after this, you see people talking, but there's no dialogue. And I had to look it up, and apparently they shot the attack scene without sound as a cost-cutting measure, but then the sound guy just forgot to put it back in afterwards. Oh man, I hope they were paying you the big bucks. And this is finally when we get to see Willis O'Brien's stop motion at work. And, I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best. It's definitely got some jank to it, especially considering what Ray Harryhausen accomplished with 20,000 Fathoms 6 years prior to this. And the ironic part is that Harryhausen had become the master of the stop motion art, but he was mentored and trained by Willis O'Brien. So the apprentice had far surpassed the master at this point, and it shows. Not to say that it's terrible. I mean, the night sequences in particular look pretty good, but it's just a big step down from what audiences had already seen at this point. And unfortunately, this movie also served as the bookend to O'Brien's career in stop motion. Aside from being an effects technician on the 1960s Lost World, you know, the one where they glued horns and shit to real lizards and called it a day? That was it. He died shortly after that. His final piece of work was in a brief sequence in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, which wasn't released until after he was already gone. Really is an unfortunate end to the career of the man who brought King Kong to life. But where Willis O'Brien's career basically ended with this movie, Eugene Laurier's very next movie 2 years later would be the far superior Gorgo, yet another big-ass monster movie which I've already covered extensively. So, it's not all bad, and considering Gorgo was the 4th giant monster movie in a row that Laurier did, really just goes to show you what was popular back in the 50s. It truly was the atomic age of monster movies. That's where the money was.